When you come to Kvarner, treat yourself to an experience you will remember. Enjoy the luxurious ambience. Experience superior service. Indulge in endless pleasures. The pearl of the tourism offer in the pearl of the Adriatic. Liburnia, Hotels and Villas.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Autodrom Most here in the Czech Republic for the NASCAR Grand Prix Czech Republic here with the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We had some pretty action-packed racing yesterday, quite a few safety cars. The nature of the circuit, meaning quite a few drivers coming to blows throughout the course of our races yesterday in both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. But hopefully we can get a little bit more green flag running for today's two races, once again in EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. But this time we flip them around. So we start off a slightly shorter 60-kilometer, 14-lap EuroNASCAR 2 division race. And it is going to be a brilliant one. We've seen how closely matched the field in EuroNASCAR 2 has been this weekend in qualifying and in the race yesterday. Some brilliant overtakes were made whilst we were green, so looking forward to this race today. Let's take a look at the circuit that the drivers have been facing all of yesterday, all of Friday, and they'll be facing all of today as well. Autodrom Most, a 4.2 kilometer circuit, or 2.5 miles there or thereabouts, depending on your units of choice. And the circuit with the most corners on the entire series calendar for 2022. 21 corners, a huge number of corners, very tight and twisty circuit, but also extremely high speed, as you'll hear the drivers talking about, I'm sure, when we can get down onto the grid. You can see it there, turns 1 and 2, the right and the left at the beginning of the circuit. Cause of many incidents yesterday in almost every single series that was driving at the circuit yesterday on Saturday. So we'll see how the drivers fare through there today, especially at the race starts, and if we get them restarts as well. Tight and twisty ESTA section on the far left-hand side of the circuit, where you've got the turn 6, 7, 8 and 9 complex. And then a little bit of a higher speed stretch along the top of the circuit before the end. Turns 20 and 21. Good place for some overtaking, and you can get a good run out of there in towards the first two corners as well. We saw plenty of overtaking happening yesterday whilst we were green. So looking forward to this one. That is for sure. So what have we covered this weekend so far? Well, on Friday we had the Challenge Cup, of course. The Club Challenge on Friday. Free practice for them, and then the Regularity Challenge, the 2 30-minute Club Challenge races that they had. And of course, free practice for EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. About an hour's driving for each of the drivers, minus any pauses for issues that they may have had. Qualifying yesterday, where we saw Alon Day take pole position in the EuroNASCAR Pro Series, and homeboy Martin Dubeck taking pole position in EuroNASCAR 2. Very popular around this circuit. And then we saw the first of the races for each of the categories as well. We'll see the second of each of the races today. Starting off, of course, with EuroNASCAR 2. And the grid for EuroNASCAR 2 is going to be set by the fastest laps of each of the drivers from race number 1. And it's a bit of an interesting one. And a lot of drivers are fairly out of position because we didn't get a whole lot of green flag laps. So the drivers didn't get too many attempts at setting a fast lap for themselves. Oftentimes, they were involved in some kind of battle throughout the entire race. Very rarely did they actually get some clean laps. And so it's little surprise that the drivers right up at the front were able to get the fastest laps and put themselves on the front of the grid. Well, it's time to go down to the podium area. We've got Andre down. Who have you got with you, Andre?
Thank you so much, Dane. Yes, I'm here with Max Lanzer, driving the 88 car in the EuroNASCAR Pro division. So he is going to race in the second race here today. Max, just talk us through your day yesterday. How was it?
It was a crazy race, very, very crazy race. At the start, it was many accidents, and it's most important to be out of the rumble. I stay out, and I had a good pace, and all good. It's a shame for the safety cars, but I was focused on my goal, and go well.
You said you have to focus on your goal. What is your goal?
Yeah, my goal is the top 10, and absolutely the winner of the Challenger Trophy. This is my goal for this season.
All right, grazie mille and good luck later on. Thank you. I think we stay here because we have the next driver already waiting for me here. Patrick Lemarie, ça va?
Good morning, ça va? Ouais, bien.
So, just talk us through your race yesterday.
Well, it was 100 meters, so it was a little bit frustrating. I was expecting a very good race, and unfortunately stopped at the first corner. But you know, we're starting last today, and I think we have a good car for today. So I'm expecting a good race. Yeah.
Yesterday we had a little bit of chaos in the beginning of the race. How crucial is it to be at the right spot in turn one, because it's first gear corner, right?
I think we all need to think about it a little bit more. I think it's the question of the drivers, more of the track. Of course, we have a very tricky first corner, but you know, maybe it's because I'm older and I want to wait. But we have to, you know, make sure that we all pass this first corner correctly and we can race after. We don't want to be obliged to have a yellow flag for this first corner. It would be maybe an idea, but maybe not a good idea for racing. But I hope for today, but I'm starting last, so I hope I won't be in trouble. But I think the driver has to think that then we can, you know, pass this first corner and have a good race after. I hope it will be good today.
All right, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
And the next one already waiting for me here. We have Marcusens here. Really hard to talk about the race yesterday, but we saw your car tearing apart. We didn't know exactly what happened to you.
Well, I had a decent start from P6, and then
And I think we just lost the microphone there for from Andre there, so we'll try and get back down onto the podium area with him in just a moment. As yeah, you can see the cars will be getting onto the grid fairly shortly, as was the case for much of yesterday. Some slight delays on the circuit, lots of action at the racetrack over the weekend. Plenty of racing series out there this weekend, and so if there's a slight delay with one of them, it does have a little bit of a knock-on effect, unfortunately. So a slight delay in the session before we can get started, but we will be able to get started fairly close to on time though. It was only a very, very short delay, we've been told. So just taking a look at all of the paddock area there, you can see drivers will be getting ready to get into the cars and make their way down towards the grid.
9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I can hear Andre now down at the podium.
Yes, we're back. A little difficulty with the microphone, but now we are back here. And Thomas Crasson is here with me. Difficult race yesterday, right?
Yes, as always. Most is an interesting track. It's tricky the first two corners, a lot of crashes, a lot of damages on the car. Fortunately, we were able not to damage the car, you know, with a crash or an accident, but we had a mechanical failure in the secondary start that put us out from the race. So it was unfortunate because we avoided everything that happened in the beginning. I was thinking that yes, we have a good run because I took 8 positions in the first lap. From 22 I was P14, but yeah, we didn't manage to finish the race. So yeah, we're looking forward to today. The plan is the same, to avoid all the accidents since we are starting in the back. and yeah, we look to have a clean race and to escape from all the madness, you know, of most.
What do you like about the Autodrom Must the most?
For me, it's a very nice track because it's very fast. It is having a nice flow when you are driving it. I don't know how to explain it, you know, more clearly, but it has a nice feeling when you are driving on this track. It's fast, it's competitive, it's not short. It has a lot of places to overtake, which is always nice when you are driving this type of cars because due to the size, you know, it's hard to overtake in smaller circuits. But yeah, it's a very nice track overall. I enjoy being here. Only the first 2 corners is the tricky part for everybody, I think, not only for me.
All right, thank you so much and good luck for the next one. Thank you.
Yep, the first couple of corners causing problems for drivers, not just in the races though, it was also in qualifying. It's a very tricky part of the circuit to get right. It is incredibly slow and really tight to get the car through there, to get the car slowed down in time, because you're coming from what is pretty much the fastest part of the circuit down the start-finish straight, and down in towards turn number 1. So a very tricky braking zone for that first gear corner as well, so extremely slow. You've got to get the car all the way slowed down and then through the right and the left. So we're going to go back down towards the podium area now, and we've got Andre waiting.
Yes, I'm here with Vittorio Ghirelli. This weekend I saw a lot of guys working on your car, even guys from different teams helping you out, right? Is it though?
Yeah, basically we had a lot of electric issues, so a bit of misfires, and yeah, people are coming helping me, but yeah, we didn't manage to have a good result, unfortunately. I had no laps in free practice, no laps in qualifying. I did the race 1, but still with some misfires, so I think I did P11. I got also the points for the most overtakes, but still I'm not happy, you know. Last year I won here. We have a good setup, we have a good pace, but don't manage, you know, to put it together. So hopefully today will be good and we manage to do a good race. Let's see.
In the warm-up, did the car run, and have you a feeling if the car is better than yesterday?
Yeah, the warm-up was okay. We had finally we didn't have these misfires, so I think the problem is solved. Now, because it was the first laps I did, so now we just have to, you know, put it together, do a good baseline setup for the race, and just go for it. And I'm starting, I think, P8 or P9, something like that. So, yeah, maybe the podium, it's possible. So, yeah, let's go for it.
All right, grazie mille, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Got the number 36 machine there, not having the best of times out there, but great to hear that, you know, the paddock is helping out. And we always want extra cars on the grid and make it nice and competitive. As the drivers making their way down to turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. I think all of them have realized now that they're going to have to be a lot more cautious down into the first couple of corners, especially for the first time. Let's head back down towards the podium area with Andre.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here with Luca Caniori, team manager of Cal Racing. For a simple question, we had a chaotic 2 races yesterday. How long did the team work on the cars last night?
Yes, until 3 tonight. Very long, very long walk this night, but we are ready for the race. We're ready. We will start in pole position with Alberto Nasca. We'll have a difficult start in 5th, 6th, and 8th position in pro, but we are sure to gain position during the race and try to go on the podium again.
All right, grazie mille, good luck. And I think we get the next team manager over here. Alex Caffey is here with us from Academy Motorsport and Alex Caffey Motorsport. Ciao. How's it going?
Oh, for the moment it's okay. So we had the race last day, and we have some damage on one car, especially the car number 2. But no, we did well because we start Thursday, so we won the club category with Federico Monti. He's my co-owner in the team, and so we are happy with his first victory for the season, I think. And Vladimir. He was third yesterday, so we are still open for the championship for sure, and we hope today will be better, but it's okay. Yesterday we had a very bad race because was a lot of pace car, you know, so also for for the show was not really very good, but you know, sometimes happens, so not a problem.
All right, grazie mille, thank you so much.
There you go. Bye.
It's always great to hear from the teams. But yes, a lot of damage to a lot of cars from yesterday. So a lot of the teams have been told have been spending a lot of time last night and into the early hours of this morning. Getting repairs done on the car, as we had yesterday as well. Some quick repairs having to be done between the two races yesterday. Of course, it is the same car that is used by both drivers in EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. So the drivers have got to keep that in mind when they're making their way through the races. They don't really want to get too much damage on the cars. Otherwise, they might just be ruining their teammates' race. Let's go back down to the podium. Andre, who have you got?
Yes, we have the 25th EuroNASCAR Pro race winner in history of NASCAR Win Euro Series. So, you're now a NASCAR race winner. After that night, how did it sink in?
It still didn't think in. So yeah, it was amazing to be on the highest level of the podium. I was fast in qualifying, and of course there was chances, but you have to do it, and it happened finally.
Yesterday, Michael Blekemolen had a violent crash. I think he's okay, but the car, I heard you were very, very long in the garage this morning, right?
Yeah, the team worked until 5 in the morning, but we did warm up and the times were quite okay. I did the warm up and the car actually felt pretty good. We had some small issues with the brakes and the balance, but I think we can solve it, and hopefully I'm starting P3 this afternoon, hopefully back on the podium again.
Thank you, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep, starting P3 was also P3 in the warm-up earlier. The drivers get a 10-minute warm-up, and they can choose either the EuroNASCAR 2 or EuroNASCAR Pro driver to take the car out for the effectively the shakedown before the races on the Sunday. And not doing too badly, and the time definitely looking good out there for the Blekemolen team. But yeah, big crash at the right near the end actually of the EuroNASCAR 2 race yesterday. As we go back down to the podium with Andre.
I'm here now with Roy Hendricks, the team boss of Hendricks Motorsport. We had Liam Hazemans involved in several crashes. Even Martin Dubeck had not the perfect race in EuroNASCAR Pro. So what does it take to be better today?
Well, they have to adapt a little bit better, I guess, to the circumstances. This track is always... well, there's always a lot of damage here, but yesterday was a little bit extreme for my taste. We had good talks, good footage. We looked at everything what happened, and hopefully they learn from it. So I hope it gets better today.
How long were you in the garages to fix the cars?
Well, let me say it was past midnight.
All right, thank you well, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, as a very common theme amongst most of the teams is that they have been staying very late into the early hours of this morning to get some repairs done on the cars. As we are preparing the grid area on the circuit, getting ready to send the cars out for today's first race in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Let's go back down to the podium area.
Yes, I'm back again with Jan Zimmer again, yes. You're back in EuroNASCAR, and I think you have already did the most interviews here today and this weekend. So what's your feeling about today?
No, I mean today, start of the race quite late in the day. We'll see. I think I'm starting P12 or something like that. So just like yesterday, keep the fenders on the car, race the racetrack, and we'll see what's up. But for sure, you know, top 10 will be good. Then after, we'll see.
Okay, thank you so much and good luck.
See you.
Driving in the number 94 machine this weekend, returning to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series after an 8-year hiatus, Jan Zimmer. Great to have him back. Keep an eye out for the number 94. It will be driven by Alina Leubneger in the EuroNASCAR 2 race coming up. Getting onto the podium for the Lady Trophy as well. Doing a pretty decent job out there in the 94. So definitely do keep an eye out for that machine as they make their way through the race. hearing from race control that the pit lane should open on the hour, so we should be able to get the cars onto the grid, or making their way onto the grid at least, in around about 5 minutes' time. Until then, we'll just keep trying to get as many people as possible to have a chat with before the race, because it's always great to hear from the teams and really get a feeling for exactly how the weekend is going for everyone. As a very stressful last couple of days, I think, for a lot of the teams, a lot of the team managers, trying to get all of the cars sorted for the beginning of each of the races. You can see the pace car lining up there on the start-finish line, definitely getting ready to get underway here. Couple of things to note from yesterday, some race director announcements, it looks like. We've got one. Every single driver in both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 is on probation. Essentially what that means is race control are going to be treating turns 1, 2 and 3 incidents pretty harshly. They're going to go up a level in all of the penalties that do get applied, if any do. So the drivers have to be a little bit more careful than yesterday. We're going to have a look now at exactly why, because we've got some highlights from yesterday from EuroNASCAR 2, and you'll see just how crazy yesterday's race really was. And we are green for round number 7, and look at that, it's a great start from the number 5 of Vladimir Osiotsis on the outside, and here comes Alberto Nasca, 3 wide at the beginning for the race lead. Nasca to the inside, braking hard for turn number 1, and it's Debeck breaking the latest and getting the move done. Back up into first position. Nasca's pushed out wide, and Siotis is back through into second position. Loads of dust has been kicked up, but I think they've all made it through in one piece for now. Debeck still under pressure here, and here comes Nasca, side by side. Oh, and the back of Liam Hazeman's car has flown off. Hazeman's off wide, and Pontonen around the outside of Vladimir Siotis, but he's outbraked himself. He's off into the gravel. He's going to have to cut over the grass as well. He's going to lose a whole heap of time here as he rejoins the circuit just before turn 17. And a train of cars goes around his outside now. Here comes Alberto Nasca once again to the inside of turn number 1, deep on the brakes. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. And Alberto Nasca this time makes the move stick and takes the lead. And there's a car off into the gravel. Have they managed to regain and get it back onto the circuit? I think they have. A big lock up there from the number 29. Alia Koloc just about holding on to things there. Huge damage to both of these cars. You can see all the internal bodywork there. On the 33, it's Paul Geoffroy who's got the front engine cover completely lifted up off the top of the car. Heading into turn 1, loads of cars just going past, and a spin in the back is the number 1. Somehow, I think, everyone else has managed to avoid Kasparas Vingelis, the Lithuanian driver. And we're green again. Another good launch by Martin Debeck. They're going to try and go side by side for sure in towards turn number 1. Debeck looking to the outside now, breaks in a single straight line, and who's that up the middle, trying to make a whole heap of positions around the outside of turn 2 and out the inside. As off into the gravel, oh, there's carnage, and off goes the front of the number 54. It was already heavily damaged. Carries on going for the time being. Del Castello, and it's a 65 of Benedetti, and beached into the gravel trap is Del Castello, and I wonder if we might see the safety car back out one final time here. There is Pontonen. He's got a bit of a gap now. The 24 under huge pressure. as Linster goes to the outside. They'll go side by side. Oh, and Ponten is slow on the inside of turn number 1, and there's a massive queue here of cars trying to make it through. There goes the 18. Oh, the 24 spun off at turn number 1. 3 cars into the gravel. Will they all be able to get back out in time? There's almost more contact. There is more contact as they rejoin the circuit. Cars coming at high speed past them. I think everybody's just about managed to get through. Alberto NASCAR will take the checkered flag and he will win round number 7 of the EuroNASCAR 2 division. And extending his advantage up at the top. Alberto NASCAR managing to take the victory there. Had to hold off some pretty severe pressure from Martin de Beek, who of course is doing double duty this weekend. So we will see him, the home driver, in EuroNASCAR 2 now, and then we'll see him a little bit later on as well in EuroNASCAR Pro. One of the many drivers doing double duty this weekend. Dario Casso, Nicolo Gabossi, just thinking who else we got. Alia Kolic as well. Leonardo Colavita, Liam Hazelman's doing double duty here as well. So a lot of drivers doing both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. And you can see in the background, you might be able to hear it as well, you can see the teams making their way onto the grid. You can see the cars making their way onto the grid. And we have got now a final time for when we will get the starting command. Yes, the most famous word in all of motorsport. Just 11.5 minutes until we will get that. We'll see if we can spot Andre down there making his way onto the grid. As we'll see if we can get a word with a couple of the drivers once they make their way around and are all settled in on the grid. But out in front in the championship standings then, Alberto NASCAR managing to extend his advantage after yesterday's victory, with a clean move down the inside into turn number 1. Tried it on the opening lap, got an initial very good launch as well, so promising signs for the number 88. It was under pressure a little bit at the restarts, but managed to hold off that pressure very nicely indeed, and still sporting that red windshield banner, taking his 4th win of the season. Will he be able to convert pole position into a 5th race victory? Well, we'll find out in just a second as we can speak to the man himself. Andre is down onto the grid and he's got Alberto NASCAR down with him.
Yes, right. I'm here with Alberto NASCAR, pole position here today. Yeah, 2 in a row is the goal, right?
Yeah, actually, this is the first time I do the pole position in race 1 for the race 2, so good. I was lucky yesterday because I was first. Nobody had the chance to do a good lap, so yeah, I mean, that's good.
All right, then good luck and have fun.
Yeah, I just hope to survive turn 1. That's it.
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble going through to 1. And actually at the start of EuroNASCAR 2's race, because we were delayed ever so slightly, but the race started quite late in the afternoon, the sun was already quite low in the sky and it was right in the drivers' names.
Yesterday it was too many safety cars, so I hope...
So we see that Martin de Beek in the number 7 will line up alongside Alberto NASCAR on the front row of the grid. These two coming to blows already in this season. Back and forth in race 1 yesterday, so we hope to see some good racing between the two of them up at the front. Slightly further back, we've got the number 3 just on the second row of the grid, and we've got Ulysse Delso, is it, that we've got down with Andre.
Good starting position today, so what's your plan to win the race?
My plan is to be on the top 5, top 3, but yesterday I was bad luck and I got a puncture in 3 laps from the end. But now I'm stay focused for the race and we will see what happens.
All right, merci and good luck.
starting on that second row of the grid. Like I said earlier, fastest lap from race number 1 determines the grid for race number 2. And because of the chaos that we had yesterday, and with most drivers not getting a clean lap in, we have had a bit of a jumbled up grid. So drivers might not be where you'd expect them to be on the grid. So Alberto Nasca and Martin de Beek out in front, fairly on their own for most of the race. They managed to get some clean laps in. A couple other drivers as well. Vladimir Siotzis will line up in 3rd position alongside Ulysse Delso, who we just spoke to. And then here you can see the 3rd row of the grid, number 33 there, Paul Jaffreau. He'll line up in 5th position. Finished 4th in the race yesterday. Was just out there looking for experience, he told us before the race, and ended up on the podium as well in the Junior Cup. We'll see now the number 33 machine, what he can do from 5th position, lining up alongside the number 24, who we've got Andre down with now.
Yes, I'm here with Christian Malczarek. In the EuroNASCAR Pro Race yesterday, we saw that Alan Day has a really, really fast car. It's the same car you're driving today, the 24. So what's your goal today?
I hope it will be not the same wreckfest like yesterday. I hope for a clean, nice racing, and I hope finally for some nice and good results.
Any plan when it's going into turn 1?
I really hope that 2 wide it's enough for the first chicane, and we'll go away everybody. So, and there is a 40 minutes race, and we can really find the place where to fight for the positions.
All right, then good luck and thank you so much.
Christian Malk right there, starting in 6th position. Sharing the car with Alon Day, championship leader in EuroNASCAR Pro. That's why he's got the red banner on the top of the windshield there. Hearing that the car number 5, and it's Vladimir Siotzis, and that number 5 machine cannot catch a break this weekend. In trouble at the pit exit, and it looks like he has got the car restarted, and it is going to be joining the grid in just a few moments' time. But that car, with its more than its fair share of issues over the course of the weekend so far, not able to make it to the first 5 minutes of the qualifying session for EuroNASCAR 2, finishing EuroNASCAR 2's qualifying session on the grass on the side of the circuit, didn't even make it to the pit lane at the end. And we'll see what the Cypriot driver in that car thinks in the number 5. We got him down on the grid with Andre.
How hungry are you to beat Alberto Nasca today and gain some important points in the championship?
Yeah, sure, we will push to the maximum. Always fair racing is all about, you know. Yesterday I think for everyone was a survival race, so let's have a good race everyone, and let the fastest win. I will give my best once again. Important points, the most important.
Thank you so much, and yeah, we want some clean green flag laps here today, so hopefully it works. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I don't think we got more than 2 consecutive green flag laps in the EuroNASCAR 2 race yesterday. Drivers having issues through turns 1 and 2, definitely fair to say. And I think a couple of the drivers just want to get some green running in. A little bit less of a problem, the sun here in the morning here for EuroNASCAR 2. As we do approach midday, temperatures are going to be a little bit higher for them. A little bit warmer out there today. But at least they don't have the sun directly in their vision as they're coming up to the starting gantry. A couple drivers, including Alberto Nasca, who was starting from 3rd position there, was a little bit concerned about that. Making his way up towards the starting gantry with the starting lights. Of course, we will have a double file race start. But race control has tended to opt for a single file restart when we have had safety car procedures. As you see, the thumbs up there. Drivers are ready to go. Just 3.5 minutes until we can get the starting and run. The drivers will be able to prepare themselves to make their way through the formation lap. Number 8 car, Paolo Valeri, will be starting in 9th position on the grid, just behind Tuomas Pontonen. Let's go down to Andre on the grid. And who have you got, Andre?
Yes, I've heard you talking about the temperatures, and I have a nice thing over here on the start-finish line. So at the moment we have 22.7 degrees air temperature and 28.3 degrees Celsius, of course, track temperature. So yeah, it's getting really hot. I have to be honest, I need a cap for the next interviews. It's going to be very, very hot here today.
Yeah, we might end up seeing quite a bit of a red on the top of Andre's forehead there. If we end up with any more sun out there and if it gets any hotter. I think it is going to be a couple of degrees warmer over the course of the day as well. I think we are looking at highs of about 24 degrees Celsius today, whereas we had the highest temperature I saw at least was 21 degrees Celsius air temp, of course. 2.5 minutes until we will get that starting command. Taking a look at all of the teams starting to make their way off of the grid, and just the most important personnel standing by with the drivers now. As we see there, yeah, up on the starting gantry as well, the timer for when we'll be able to get the formation lap started. It will be about a minute after we get the starting command. So the drivers and the teams always have an eye on what's going on. Almost ready to get going for round number 8 of the EuroNASCAR 2 campaign in 2022. Here is the number 29, Ilija Koloc, having a pretty decent showing out there, getting the first place trophy in the Lady Trophy yesterday. Doing double duty as well, so we will be seeing her out once again in EuroNASCAR Pro. Great to see the number 29 machine back out onto the grid. She'll be starting in 12th position here on the grid today in that number 29. And you can see just one crew member remaining by each of the vehicles now, as we're less than a minute away from hearing those most famous words of motorsport. Bit of a wave by Michael Bleekenboden, had a bit of an incident off in turn number 1. Couldn't quite catch it on the replay cameras, but you could just see him. He was the car that made contact with the number 1 of Vingelis to turn him around at the end of the main straight on one of the restarts, causing one of the safety car conditions. That car, the team were up until 5 in the morning to get it ready. Well, we're just about ready then for the starting command.
V motorsportu se mnou už je tady Grand Marshal dnešního závodu, kterým je Lukáš Pavlík. To znamená, Lukáši, v tuhletu chvíli je to tvoje, opři se do toho pořádně.
Driver, start your engines!
Jo!
As the youngest Grand Marshal I have ever seen gives the drivers a starting command, we are less than a minute away from getting the formation lap started. We'll see the pace car pull off, and eventually the field will be in the control of Alberto NASCAR on pole position. They'll come 2 by 2 down the main straight. We'll see what we can get in terms of racing action for this EuroNASCAR 2 8th round of the campaign here at Autodrom Must. Interestingly, for both of the races, the driver in 3rd position has actually got a really good launch and has almost been able to take the lead of the race. We saw it with Nicola Rocca in the number 56 machine, starting from 3rd position in EuroNASCAR Pro. And we saw it again from Alberto NASCAR himself, starting in 3rd in race 1 yesterday. Almost getting up the inside and getting ahead of Martin Dubeck, who started that race on pole position. This time he has to settle for 2nd place. The pace car pulls away and off we go for the pace lap. We are getting started here for Sunday's action. the NASCAR Grand Prix Czech Republic. Here is the grid then. Alberto Nasca lines up on a pole position on the inside of the front row. On his outside, Martin Dubek, the home driver, the Czech, in the number 7 machine. Just behind Vladimir Tsiotsis, lining up in P3. Ulysse Delso will line up alongside on the second row of the grid. Just behind them, Paul Geoffroy, great P4 finish for him yesterday, starts P5. Christian Malkarek alongside in the number 24 machine. Thomas Pontonen will line up in P7. Hopefully can keep the rear of his car on, unlike yesterday. Gil Linster in the number 56. And then rounding out your top 10, Paolo Valeri in P9 alongside Liam Hazemans in the number 50. There's your top 10 starting positions for today's race. Plenty of action expected ahead of us. 60-kilometer race in EuroNASCAR 2, and around Autodrom Bus, that makes it just around 14 laps. We did see an overtime finish yesterday that saw the drivers do 16, so you got to keep that in mind, especially at a circuit with such a high attrition rate as we saw yesterday. Coming around turns 11 and 12 now down the hill. They'll build up a lot of speed around this circuit. As the drivers have all said, they really enjoy driving around it. Loads of speed. High speed corners, 11 and 12 completely flat out in these machines. For getting back onto the brakes. Not too much though for turn 13. Still a very quick right-hander at the end of this section here. And then into the tight and twisty. We've got turn 14, which is just a kink on the way to the heavy braking zone of turns 15, 16 and 17, where we saw a couple of issues for the drivers. Thomas Pontonen going off at this part of the circuit twice, once at turn 15, once at turn 17. But you'll see them they're in single file for the time being, weaving about to try and get as much temperature into their tyres as possible. We've seen the tyres can take a good couple of laps to get into the optimum range. And here we go then, out of turn 17 in the background, through 18 here and now through turn 19 as well. Just 2 corners left until we will get started for the 8th round of the EuroNASCAR 2 division here as part of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Lights on the pace car are off. The drivers are in double file. And we are ready to go. Round the final couple of corners we go. And off pulls the pace car. Alberto Nasca leads the field in the number 88, alongside Martin Dubek in the number 7. And they will await for the lights on the starting gantry. You can see them now. Here we go. We're ready to race. And we go green. A good launch from Alberto Nasca. He still has Martin Dubek alongside. The front 2 drivers getting a launch on the drivers behind. Vladimir Tsiotsis won't be able to make any moves up on the first couple of corners. Will we all be able to get through cleanly for the first time? Nasca gets ahead. Martin Dubek in second. And Vladimir Tsiotsis just about holds on for 3rd position. Couple drivers dipping a wheel into the gravel, bringing up a bit of dust. But it looks like we have made it through cleanly for the first time here in race number 2. Alberto Nasca leads them now into the tight and twisty sections. Turns 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And now in towards turn 10 they will go. As they'll build up the speed now down the hill. Single file all the way back. As it is still Nasca who leads. Dubek in second, Tsiotsis in the 3rd position. As through the 2nd sector they will go. Rest of the field, Delso, Geoffroy, Pontonen, Malkarek not swapping positions just yet. A very clean start for the drivers out there so far. as they make their way through the final corner. And we have completed the first lap of racing. First lap of 14 here. And there is a move then up the inside in towards turn number 1. It's Pontonen trying to make a move. And oh, a bit of a spin there. It's Koloc around at turn number 1. A bit of a lock up there. No contact, it didn't look like, but bit of an error on the braking. They're side by side. Hazemans and Valeri. Hazemans looking for 9th position and gets it. Tucks in behind Gil Linster. Continues to move up through the field there. Koloc dropped down after the spin at turn number 1 as well. A much cleaner start for the drivers out there. And here comes Gil Linster looking for a move on Geoffroy just in front. Geoffroy dropping back slightly over the course of the last lap or so. Here your leaders then making their way through turn 16 now. Turn 17 on the exit. It's still NASCAR who leads. De Beck in second, Sjorts just in third. And with the high speed nature of the circuit as well, drivers have got to watch out for their tyres too. Oh, and a car off into the gravel there. Yellow flags are being waved. It's the number 54 machine. It is Luis Del Castello. Was in 14th position as the drivers come across the line now to start lap number 3. Whereabouts on the circuit is the number 54 stuck, as did pass the sector 2 check mark, so at least down in towards turns 15, I would imagine. As through the tight and twisty bits they go. Gil Linster did get ahead of Paul Geoffroy up into 6th position now for Gil. Started in 8th, so up 2 positions for Gil Linster there in the number 56, the bright yellow machine. Now making their way back down through the hill once again. Hazemans now looking to make some moves. Closing up to the back of the number 33 machine just in front of him. Oh, and for the first time we have got a safety car. Safety car has been deployed. Field will be neutralized once again. I can only imagine it's for the number 54 of Del Castello. We almost made it to the end of lap number 3. But the number 54 was off into the gravel. Didn't quite see exactly where it was. That looks to me, I'll try and get confirmation of this, but that looks to me like the exit of turn 15, the inside of turn 16. So we will see exactly where that is in just a moment, but unfortunately, back under the safety car conditions again for the drivers. Does give them a little bit of a break. Very physical cars to drive these. Very little in terms of driver assists. As we see now, down towards turn number 1. And there it is, the lockup of the tyres for the 29, and around went Leah Koloc. Down into 20th position now is the number 29. But background at pace speed, we will go. Drivers getting those tyres warmed up as we wait for the 54 car to be cleared up by the marshals. Marshals doing a brilliant job across the weekend, it must be said. We do always appreciate the effort being put in by the marshals at every circuit that we visit. They had big old oil spillage on the circuit yesterday to clear up, and plenty of cars and damaged debris to clear up off the circuit as well. Doing a brilliant job getting it all done nice and quickly, getting the track back into a safe state for the drivers to continue racing. And for Alberto Nasca, a position that he is starting to get used to. Out in front, leading everyone but the safety car. You can see the running order there. Making their way through turns 11 and 12 here. As we saw the 54 back onto the tarmac, and I wonder if it will be able to continue driving along on its own. I think that's what I'm hearing in the background, if you can hear it through that shot, because that sounded very much to me like a EuroNASCAR being driven in anger. Through the safety car goes now through turn 16. You can see a bit of debris on the circuit there. As the drivers make their way through, a little bit of gravel on the circuit, making things a bit interesting for the drivers as they make their way through there. As the number 54 will rejoin, which is always good to see. It looks like it was just a bit of a beaching in the gravel rather than any damage, major damage to the car. But the safety car lights are still on. We will have at least another lap under the safety car conditions here. As we wait for the 54 to rejoin the train here as well. Alberto Nasca once again leads Dubek and Siotis in this order to a safety car restart. Replay of the start of the race then, and it was a brilliant getaway from the front two. Look at that, almost a car's length of a gap already as the drivers behind all jostle for position. They have to stay in line until the start-finish line, remember, and that's when you see all the drivers start to make their moves. Siotis is up the inside of Dubek. Had to back out of it, and you can see Ponten looking for a move as well. Luis Del So trying to get involved for that podium spot as well, that third position. Dust being kicked up by the drivers, but nobody getting turned around until this point. It's the first incident that we had. It was the beginning of lap number 2, and around with no contact went the number 29 of Elia Kolak. And we now have confirmation of two things. Safety car will be in this lap, and it will be a single file restart. And not only will it be a single file restart, we're also going to have, this is an interesting one here, a full course yellow until turn number 3. So that means that the drivers will not be able to go racing into the first 2 corners. So a very interesting restart we're about to have here, but that is race control not wanting to risk the back-to-back safety cars that we had in race number 1 yesterday, and also in the EuroNASCAR Pro race as well. Hopefully we'll be able to keep a couple more drivers on the field. We do still have, though, every single driver that started the race still in the race. So that's always good as the drivers make their way out now around the final few corners. And the lights on the safety car will turn off, and we will get back going again with a single file restart and a full course yellow in towards turn number 3. So turn 3 is the exit, really, of turn number 2. It is a lot more noticeable when you're in the car, but from outside the car at least, it definitely does just look like a slight kink on the exit of the corner. So this is going to be an interesting one. The field will make their way in anger down towards turn number 5. So we will see a full course yellow in effect now, as the pace car pulls off into the pit lane once again. And here we go then for the restart of the race. No lights in the starting gantry, but just a full course yellow. So they will remain in single file at pacing speed. And down and towards turn number 1 they will go. It almost looks like you're watching a race start in slow motion here. And through turn number 2 now. And the drivers will wait until they see the green flag. And I'm hearing that it might not just be until turn 3. Let's see then. As down they will go. Still under full course yellow conditions into turn 5. And oh, green flag came out and a couple of drivers caught napping there. The 23, Ponton, gaining a couple of positions out of nowhere. And you can see a couple of drivers definitely getting caught out by that, especially in sort of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th positions. Ponton and up into P5 then. Up into P4, sorry, as they make their way through Sector 2 now. The green flag coming out, catching off a lot of drivers. A lot of drivers off guard there. So through turn 16, they will go now then. Round the long left. Oh, a car almost off in the background of Liam Hazelman's. They're going to go side by side. AutoNASCAR picking up some dirt on the outside of the exit of turn number 17, but keeps it going in a straight line. Doesn't lose too much time to Dubek behind. Now through the final corner, they will go. And we will begin lap number 7. So 6 laps completed by the drivers. Lap number 7 out now. A drive-through penalty for the number 18. That is Claudio Capelli. Getting a drive-through penalty. Out in front, it is still AutoNASCAR who leads. And look at that, the number 5 wants that second position, wants to get ahead of Martin Dubek. Vladimiros Tsiortsis. Looking into turn 10, you can see inches separating the two bumpers there. And now downhill into turn 13. Will we be able to see a move being made here? Tsiortsis all over, looking left, looking right. But no way past the number 7 at this part of the circuit. Needs to get a good run out of turn 13. Does get a pretty good one through the left of 14. Now into the braking zone of turn 15 and isn't going to be quite close enough. But if he can stay on the back like he is at the moment, we may well see a move being made for second position down in towards the first corner. As through in towards turn 20 they will go. Still right on the back there, side by side, a little bit further back. That's Paul Jaffreau. And Liam Hazelman's going side by side, back and forth between the two of them. Hazelman's having to settle for 8th position here at the moment. And Tsiortsis, I think, just dropping back ever so slightly in the third sector, and it wasn't able to make anything happen there. Coming out of the pit lane is a car. It's the number 1, making it very awkward for everyone involved to try and get round turn number 1. As the pit exit filters straight into the apex of the corner there. Unfortunate timing for the number 1. And Kasparas Vingelis in that machine. Getting turned around yesterday, of course. But back out onto the circuit now in the number 1 machine. Just over half race distance then. As we still have every driver who started the race running in the race. This is brilliant stuff from the drivers, keeping it nice and clean, especially at the race start. Making their way through the first couple of corners there with no issues whatsoever. As NASCAR starts to pull away ever so slightly from these two. Martin de Beek ahead of CZECHIA, the safety car, has been deployed as NASCAR was extending his advantage to about 2 seconds there on the last lap. He'll have to let the rest of the field catch back up to him again, and that is the cause of it. The 65 there. And was it the number 8 car as well? I think it was the number 8 of Paolo Valeri making contact, and they are stuck on the circuit. And I think that was through turn 8. Where the drivers are actually coming up to now. We will see if it was in fact at turn 8. The safety car slowing right down, so I'm imagining it is here at the circuit. Double waved yellows, safety car, and there are the 2 cars, and trying to find a way around them now will the rest of the field. But the 65 and the 8 it was indeed. Roberto Benedetti in the 65 and Paolo Valeri in the number 8, and yep, the 2 cars stuck on the circuit there. Through that part of the circuit. Not the fastest part of the circuit. A fairly slow section there, actually. So I can't imagine that they would have had too much speed going into that part of the track, whether they made contact. So do wonder if we'll see them get back going again, as we saw quite often last time out at Vallelunga, of course, where the drivers would sort of just get stuck on the track. A bit of damage to the front of the number 65, a bit of damage to the rear of the number 8. As we have the second safety car procedure of the race. On lap number 9 at the moment, making our way towards the end, and we'll begin lap number 10 very shortly. And the grid order has changed a little bit since the last safety car. NASCAR, de Beek and CZECHIA, nothing has changed there, but Pontonen with a brilliant restart from the full course yellow. And that number 23 makes his way up into 4th position. Delso is now in 5th, Linster in 6th, Jaffro in 7th, Hazeman's in 8th, Malcorek in 9th, and Bolikamoda now up into 10th position. Number 8 car pulls off towards the barrier openings there. Looks to be retiring that car from this race. And they're still working to get the number 65 machine cleared off the circuit. Through the final couple of corners they will go then. And we'll start the 10th lap of this race. Starting that under caution conditions. So the number 8 has seemed to make their way back into the paddock, and the number 65 is back out onto the track. So the number 8 is of Paolo Valeri. Unfortunately, that is it for the number 8. But Roberto Benedetti will get going back once again. And a free pass to number 54, the lucky dog in effect. So the number 54 will get to go around and catch up to the back of the pace queue. For anyone not aware of the lucky dog rules, when a safety car does come out, the first position driver to be one or more laps down gets a lap back on the rest of the field. So in that case, it is Del Castello in the number 54, of course, having being the cause of the first safety car, but getting back out onto the circuit. Getting a lap back on the field now, making her way around the circuit to catch back up to the back of this train. Confirmation from race control then. Safety car is in this lap, and I wonder if we might get the first of the same full course yellow restart that we had last time out as well. We'll see what race control decides as to how the safety car period will end and how we will get back going to green flag conditions. Full course yellow from turn 20. So essentially, from when the pace car pulls away, the field will be under full course yellow conditions. Alberto Nasca will lead them once again. Dubek just behind. Siortsis just behind him. As the safety car makes its way around turn 16 now and through turn 17 as well. Here we go then. Back to full course yellow procedures as we had last time out. The end of the second safety car period of the race. We will begin lap 11 of 14. 4 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line. And the field, as of right now, is under full course yellow conditions. So the safety car pulls off into the pit lane. And Alberto Nasca leads the field back out of safety car conditions, but still under those full course yellow restrictions for the time being. And I imagine it will be a very similar situation to what we had earlier on. Pontinent with a brilliant launch as soon as the circuit went green. Might be looking to do exactly the same thing here on Ciortis. Get up into those podium positions. Only a couple laps left in the race, of course. 4 laps remaining as the drivers make their way now through the exit of turn number 2. Countdown for green has begun. And here we go, and oh, Pontonen up at the second position, out the inside of De Beck, and Pontonen has got a huge launch on the rest of the field. And the number 23 all the way up in a second position, De Beck and Ciortis going backwards, and it looks like Delso as well has got ahead of Ciortis too, so Ciortis drops down to P5 now. As we restart the race once again, Hazeman's on Linster. Got past Jeffro. Now he wants to have a go at the number 56 in front of him as well. You can see all over the back of him through turn 16 now. Trying to move up into 6th position. As Jeffro dropping back quite a lot there, actually, it looks like. In the background. And oh, here comes De Beck down the inside into turn number 20. Looking for that second position back. Pontonen holding it around the outside. And capes the position. Race control had a look at the incident that caused that safety car period between the 8 and the 65. No further action is the result of that inquiry. And now to the outside, deep onto the brakes is Martin De Beck at his home race. And 23 is off into the gravel and almost spins around, keeps control of the car, but it's going to drop back down through the order. Ciortis got past Delso as well. But Pontonen holds on to the 3rd position for now. As here comes Liam Hazemans. And Linster trying to make a move on Delso as well. It's all kicking off here with about 2.5 laps to go. Into the back of Pontonen was Ciortis, and Delso had to check up a little bit. Here comes Gil Linster. And Liam Hazemans following him through as well. Both of them getting past the number 3 now, down towards turn number 13. Delso dropping back to 7th position here. Out in front, it's just allowed EuroNASCAR to extend his advantage. All of this battling. As Pontonen's got back past Martin De Beck as well. And back up into 2nd position here. So as they cross the line now, EuroNASCAR in 1st position. And it's Martin De Beck, who's got up into 2nd position. Slight glitch on my timing screen. De Beck in 2nd position, and then a pretty hefty gap back to Pontonen, who's just trying to hang on here. 2 laps to go as they cross the line there. Pontonen holding on to another podium position here in EuroNASCAR 2. Ciortis in 4th position, trying to get back up there. Gil Linster holding off Liam Hazemans. And Hazemans to the outside is going to try and get a cut back now. Trying to get a good exit. Yeah, it's not going to work out for the Dutch driver there. Not quite. Here is Ciortis in towards turn 13. They will go. The number 5 machine desperate to get past 23. As through they go, and Hazemans has got past Linster there. Must have been into turn 15. Gets it up the inside. as they make their way out of turn 17 now and up towards turn 20. You can see there, Gil Linster looking left, looking right. Can't find a spot to send it on Liam Hazeman's, but now trying to get a good run out of the final corner. Will he be able to do so? No, he won't. In fact, it's a bit of a poor exit off the corner, and he almost gets overtaken there by Delso, who's looking to the back of him now. The three of them making their way up through towards turn number 1. Final lap of the race. The white flag is out. Alberto NASCAR looking to be the first driver this season to win both races at an event in EuroNASCAR 2 in 2022. 7/10 of a second is the gap between him and Dubek out in front. Dubek closing down that gap at his home race. He desperately wants to get that victory, but he's not quite close enough as of yet. Through turn 15 they go. 13, sorry. Just a few more corners to go for Alberto NASCAR. Through 15, 16 and 17 they go now. Pontonen just about holding on to that third position for now as well. But it's going to be tight. Tjorsis trying to set up the move. And you can see now almost pushing the 23 down in towards the final couple of corners. He's going to go to the outside. He's going to get blocked by Pontonen into the braking zone. But here comes Alberto NASCAR around the final corner. And NASCAR will win the second race here and for round number 8 of EuroNASCAR 2 in 2022. And the first double race winner of the season. 5 out of 8 race wins for Alberto NASCAR. Once again extending his championship advantage. Martin Dubek finishes second. Once again at his home race. 2 podium positions for the Czech driver. And Pontonen just about holds on by 0.3 of a second ahead of Tjorsis at the line. NASCAR with the rookie season in EuroNASCAR 2 of dreams. 5 wins. That puts him tied for tied for 7th all-time in EuroNASCAR 2 wins. 5 wins for the Italian. And as they make their way down to the pits, let's have a look at exactly how he did it. Well, he started on pole position and absolutely never looked back. Martin Dubek alongside for turn number 1 here at the race start. 2 by 2, 3 wide in some parts. And yet the field manages to make it through turns 1 and 2 cleanly. Couple drivers dipping a wheel into the gravel on the outside. But otherwise, no dramas here. In towards turn number 1. Here we'll see a little bit too hot on the brakes for number 29 of Elia Kolok. Unfortunately, she does go around at turn number 1. Here was a bit of an awkward moment as the number 1 of Vingelis, the Lithuanian driver, coming out of the pit lane in quite possibly the most awkward of times. And here is how Pontonen gets past everybody in front of him up into second position. Unfortunately, a little bit too hot on the brakes on the tight inside line. Gets the car back going in a straight line again and crucially gets out in front of Tjorsis. A bit of a block there though. Alberto NASCAR crossing the line to take the victory, and you can see Martin Dubek extremely happy with his team. 2 podium finishes for the Czech driver at the NASCAR Grand Prix of Czechia. The drivers make their way back now onto the pit lane and into victory lane once again here at Most for Alberto NASCAR. What a way to kick off the second half of the campaign here for round number 8 of the championship. For these drivers, a lot of them, they'll now cast their eyes forwards to rounds 9 and 10 at Circuit Zolder for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Belgium. But I'm sure that is not on the mind of the driver of the number 88 right here. Alberto NASCAR. Well, once again, a very, very happy driver. And what a story this will be for his YouTube channel as well. Of course, that's one of the reasons he is the, I would say, probably the most popular driver on the EuroNASCAR 2 grid. With many hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, of course. As we await to see him make his way out of the car, and as we so often see, I'm sure, onto the top of his car he will go. As celebrations will begin now. A delighted Alberto NASCAR, it must be said. There he goes. Your race winner. And extending his championship advantage as well. A dream start to the second half of the season for Alberto NASCAR there. As we'll try and sneak Andre in for a chat with him. We'll see if he can sneak a word in down there on victory lane as well. Andre, we'll go down to you.
That was totally unexpected because the way we started was not good. I mean, the way we started the weekend was not good. We were not fast. We were struggling with the setup. But I think today's victory is a conjunction between the teamwork and my experience, because, you know, if this happened in the first race, I wouldn't have been able to win. But today I did it because I was able to overcome the problems of the car. Because, for example, we were struggling with the setup on the Saturday, then the team, in the Friday, then the team changed everything, so they did a good work. But I found out that in the morning, it's hard to drive. In the afternoon, it's easier to drive. So you have to change the way to drive in order to adapt to the different conditions. I don't know why, because maybe it's for the dirt of the trucks, or I don't know. Maybe the wind in the night brings some dirt, but the car is different. So the team was able to follow my instruction with the setup, and I was able to adapt to the changes, so that's 100% a team victory.
Now you extended your championship lead again. We have Zolder left, we have Grobnik left. Is the title now in your mind?
Absolutely. It always was in my mind, even if I started 30th. I mean, you always have to aim for the top, so you will do good. But, you know, this championship, considering that everybody can discard the 2 worst results, and in the last races you have double points. I mean, everything can change from one day to another, so I just keep to push until the end. And you probably didn't know, but I had a bad problem in the car in the end. In the last 3 laps, I got the throttle stuck at 20%. So it was really, really, really thrilling in the end, because I kept telling to my engineer, I have problems, and he said, okay, don't worry, keep pushing. And, you know, I brake, and I can downshift, because if the throttle is stuck, you cannot downshift. So I have no idea how the gearbox is now, but at least I finished the race, so that's the important thing. I'm sorry for my friend, for my teammate Max later. I hope I didn't break anything.
All right. Grazie mille. Thank you so much. And congratulations.
Thank you. Grazie. Ciao ragazzi.
Always great to hear from Alberto NASCAR. As the number 88 once again onto the top step of the podium. Car down in victory lane again. As we do have some news here from race control. Thomas Pontonen has got a 30-second penalty. A 30-second penalty, potentially for jumping the restarts. We'll have to wait for confirmation of exactly what the penalty is for, but does get a 30-second penalty, putting him down in 18th position, last out of the lead lap finishes, which means that your top three will be Alberto NASCAR, Martin de Beek, and Vladimiros Tsiotsis. Does get the third position. As we're going to have a chat down there on the podium with a couple of other drivers who we've got down there with you. Is that Yevgen Sokolovsky?
Yes, it is. Really good weekend for you. Yesterday, very good results in both championships. Again, today, a solid race, right?
Yeah, it's a great race. Yesterday we have crazy race. Today, great race. It's not many crash yesterday. Very make good job my spotter Ivan, and with him I gave a step. It's not easy because I have yesterday my hand is not good, and today I am happy from this race. It's very hard.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. So just one thing, yesterday in the race he injured his hand on lap 1 and he drove the whole race in pain, so that was a big performance by Yevgen Sokolovsky.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Yep, and making it onto one of the podiums out there yesterday as well, finishing in 9th position here today, so not a bad job for the driver in the number 48 machine at all, especially as you say there, Andre, with the injury that he sustained yesterday. As I'm sure race control will be scrambling around now, trying to get all of the drivers out and ready for the podium. And EuroNASCAR 2, of course, plenty of podiums. As we've got not only the overall podium, but also a couple extras as well. You've got the Lady Trophy for the female drivers in the championship. Back down at the victory lane, we've got Andre, and who have you got down there with you?
Yes, I'm here with the local hero, Martin de Beek. It was a solid race for you, right?
I'm really disappointed. This is not real racing. We had again many safety cars and start in single file and then full course yellow start. So I'm really disappointed for it. But happy for second position for sure. But now I don't know what we will do for sure. I want to speak with race control because again start in single file and full course yellow start. That's not real racing.
Yeah, but it's about what happened yesterday. We had only safety car yesterday, so
yeah, we had also many safety car yesterday, and today again we raced maybe 7 or 8 laps. So I know safety, but if some cars is on the track, it's unsafe. But I'm really disappointed for him. So, but I'm really happy for second place.
All right, thank you so much.
Normally when it's for NASCAR, I don't really do it. When it's my personal one, I'll do it. Sometimes we can.
We can see the trophies out there. They're getting ready for the podium presentation. Just trying to get a couple of drivers back up there. You can see as plenty of fans out here at Autodrom Most. Back out in numbers again after, of course, no race here in 2020 in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, unfortunately, and last year with very restricted fan numbers. Back out in force. It's a great EuroNASCAR 2 for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Czechia. And like you said, struggled a little bit on Friday, but got there in the end when it counted. Third position in qualifying, taking the race win in race 1, getting pole position as well for race number 2, and never looking back. Got ahead of Debeck at the beginning, and that was the end of that. We take a look at the team members out there in the paddock. They'll be getting back to work again. Luckily for the team members, for the first time this weekend for them, they don't have to do too much repair work, because we didn't have that many incidents really. Only a couple cars having issues, the 2 safety cars, but the 54 getting back going again. I'm sure they'll give a thorough check to the number 54 going off there. But other than that, and the 65 and the 8 coming to blows as well. Not a whole lot of contact in the race. Lots of clean racing, lots of good overtakes as well. A very good second race here at Moss for EuroNASCAR 2. And we'll see quite a few of these drivers again, of course, in EuroNASCAR Pro a little bit later on today for their 75-kilometer, 17 laps race. As here we go then. Time for the podium ceremony. There is Vladimir Ostiotzis then, up onto the first step of the podium. Plenty of cheers for the home driver, Martin Debeck. And here we go then, up onto the top step of the podium once again, AutoNASCAR. As the trophies will be presented here for the drivers. And we will now hear the national anthem of Italy for AutoNASCAR. And as he loves to do there, soaking everybody with the champagne. Your overall race podium for EuroNASCAR 2 there. And the leader of the championship, the red banner for the windshield, the Whelen red banner being presented now to the new leader of the championship. Of course, it is AutoNASCAR extending his advantage up at the front with a double race victory, maximum of the points that he realistically could have got. And there is the banner there for him. The 88 will continue to don the red Whelen banner when they return at Zolder. Three more podiums still to go through then. As there are a couple of subcategories within the EuroNASCAR 2 division of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Up next is the Legend Trophy for EuroNASCAR 2 drivers over 40 years old. Third position is the number 18 of Claudio Capelli. Miguel Gomez, the driver of the number 46, up onto the second step of the podium. And the winner of the Legend Trophy, we saw him earlier on, number 48, Yevgen Sokolovsky. There are your top three from the Legends Trophy then. Claudio Capelli in third position on your right-hand side. On the far left, Miguel Gomez, the driver of the number 46. And the driver of the number 48, Yevgen Sokolovsky, takes the victory in the Legends Trophy category. As for EuroNASCAR 2 drivers over 40 years old. Now the Rookie Trophy up next, and we'll see a familiar face up on the Rookie Trophy podium. This is for EuroNASCAR 2 drivers in their first NASCAR season. And in third position, the number 27 driver of Patrick Schober. Onto the third step of the podium there. Second position, number 33, back up onto the Rookie Trophy podium as well after a good result yesterday, is Paul Geoffroy. And once again, back up onto the top step of the podium, the driver of the number 88, championship leader, extending his advantage and taking home the Rookie Trophy as well, AutoNASCAR. Your top three for the Rookie Trophy, Patrick Schober on the right-hand side in third position, Paul Geoffroy on the left, and in the middle, up on the top step of the podium, AutoNASCAR. Rookie Trophy for EuroNASCAR 2 drivers in their first NASCAR season. Last but not least then, the Lady Trophy for the female drivers in the EuroNASCAR 2 division. And we'll start off third position, the driver of the number 14 machine, Arianna Casoli. After a brief trip into the gravel, the number 54 machine, second position, Luli Del Castello, back up onto the podium there. And for the second time this weekend, Leah Collett in the number 29 machine, up onto the top step of the podium. Your Lady Trophy podium. And the final podium of the EuroNASCAR 2 event, Lady Trophy, Arianna Casoli on the right-hand side, Luli Del Castello on the left, and Leah Collett with your winner in the Lady Trophy in the middle there for your EuroNASCAR 2 female drivers podium. Well, that just about wraps up everything here for EuroNASCAR 2 at Autodrom Most. Thank you everybody so much for joining us for this race, and congratulations to all of the drivers. They managed to get pretty cleanly through all of the action today. We have still got, though, one NASCAR Whelen Euro Series event to bring you live coverage of this weekend. It will be round 8 of EuroNASCAR Pro for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Czechia. That's going to be the 75-kilometer race right in the bottom right-hand corner of the weekend format you can see on the screen. Now, we're going to be going live for that at around about 2:30 local time, that's Central European Summer Time. We'll see you then in just a bit.